Hi everyone, welcome to my craft room. Today we are going to make this Hinge journal, and if you want a closer look at this particular one, you could go to my TikTok page. I've got a post of it, but I'm going to put all the dimensions in the description below. But just as a quick overview, this journal is about 4.5 by 6. And the great thing is you can make it in any size that fits you best. And so I'm going to reproduce this journal though. I've made a few different measurements on a couple of things, mainly because I'm trying to use up some scraps. And so I have gone with a different measurement on a few things, but I'm going to put all those measurements in the description below. And just to get started, I've already cut most of my papers and scored them, and I'm going to show you everything I've got. So I'm also cornering the edges of most of my pieces to this, and I'm going to start off first with this 10 by 6. And like I said, this is a Hinge binding journal, and what we mean with Hinge, I've got 3 spots on this front cover that we're going to score at: 4.5, 5, and 5.5. And you can see those score points there. I've already done my folding. This is the front cover. And so when I fold it, I'm going to fold this so that this hinge piece goes inside. We're going to glue this together. And then on the inside cover, we've got this hinge. And this is what we're going to use to attach different pages to our journal. So first I'm going to get started and put some tape here, and we'll glue this front cover together. I like to use tear tape on most of this journal, but I am going to also add some glue at least to this front cover. And so I've got my Tombow glue here, and just put a little bit along the edge just to give it a little bit extra hold. And then we just, using those fold lines, we're going to bring those together. And I'm going to use this scoring tool, my bone folder, and just to get that really good together, adhere that, have our strong binding hinge right here. And it folds nice and closed. We're going to do some work here on our spine later once we get everything added in. So this is my front inside cover. The next piece that I'm going to use, this is a 9 by 4 sheet of paper that I've scored at 4, 4.5, and 5. And then the way I have folded, I almost think of this as a tent. So think of it how this is going to be placed down on top of this hinge. We're going to glue that, and that's how you want to make sure you fold, so that whatever color, if I'd wanted this on this side, I would need to take the center part and make it go upward, right? But I decided to go with this mainly because of the coloring, because this is a lighter color, and then I thought we'd go with the red and then kind of the lighter, and we'll see what I have next. But before I do that, I'm going to place some tape here, and we'll get that ready to put down. So I did use the tear tape again, and you're welcome to use glue or any other adhesive that you like, just something that's going to really hold these pieces together. And I'm going to place this about in the middle, but you could do it up, down, anything you want to. Give it its own character that you define. And then we just fold that in, rub it back and forth. Use our bone folder to really get that down and in position. So we have our front, and we're going to open it for a page. Okay, the third section that I'm going to put is going to be a folder. And so taking this sheet of paper, it's a 9 by 8. First, I scored it at 4, 4.5, and 5, and that gives us our middle fold. Then I turned the paper over, and I scored it at 2, and that's going to be, we're going to fold this up and make a folder. But as you can tell, when you've got all this right here, it's a little frumpy, I guess you could say. So we're going to do a little bit of cutting. So you've got this left hand side, and then the middle section and the right hand. What I'm going to do is just to the left of this first, the 4-inch score line, I'm going to cut at an angle and up to that 2-inch score line. And that's how it's going to look there when we bring our folder up. They've got a little bit of an angle. Now, just to the right of this score line, the 5-inch score line, we're going to do a similar thing, and I just eyeball it, make a triangle up to that 2-inch line. Again, that's where we're going, and we don't need this piece any longer. So we can trim that off. Just cut that off. Use it as a scrap later if you want to. And now we've got our folder here. You can go ahead if you want to. I like to glue this down. And I think I'm also going to glue this piece down as well. I liked that. I had done that on the other project. So let me do some gluing. Now we're going to add a little tear tape to this section. This is our folder. And one other thing, as you're thinking about the paper to use for your folder, with this one double sheeted paper, and that's the thing, you're going to need probably best to use double-sided paper on this project. Remember when we folded that up, if you have a object that doesn't look good upside down. For example, this was my original project. If this had been the other side and when I folded it upside, it would be upside down. I think you know what I'm talking about there. Okay, so I have this. We're ready to glue or tape this section down. These albums are really easy to make, and you can add as many pieces to this hinge as you want. And I did have one thing here. I didn't have this edge rounded, but I wanted to round those. Sometimes I wait until after I have the folder already glued and together. And it's just personal preference whether you round the edges or not. I think on the pocket, the next section, I usually don't, well, I may have rounded. No, I'm not for sure if I did or not, but I don't think I'm going to today. So, okay, now we have this middle section. So we can get this down here again and we have each section. That's what we're looking like so far. Last item I'm going to add to this book is an 8x6 sheet of paper. I'm going to score it right down the middle at 4. And then I also punched out, because this is going to be my pocket here, we're going to adhere 2 of the sides, because we've got this one that's our fold line there. And you can just choose whichever side. I'm going to go with the stripe, and we're going to place it right here in the middle. It's going to cap off that inside of our book. So I'm going to place some tear tape on these 2 sections. Actually, and I have to do this one as well. You'll see as we start laying that out. Okay, so I placed the tear tape on these 3 sections, because when we put this here, that's going to go there. This will go on that side, and then we'll join here together in the middle. So we'll take these pieces off and get ready to place them down. Use our bone folder again. Get everything down there nice and smooth. And you can see our pocket, and we have our book complete. So I'm going to take all of the little measurement sheets off now. Now this is what our journal is looking like so far. We have the little pieces there. We have our folder. We have a pocket. We're going to have the other side of the folder, another little small section, and our back cover there. So there's a couple of things now we can do. You can leave this if you want, just like this. I have done books before like that, but I think I'm going to add a back spine here, and I'll get that measurement for you. All right, I have a 6 by 2 inch strip of paper, and I have scored it down the middle at 1 inch, and that's going to be our spine. And I had to get some more tear tape, and I just realized I had gotten the thicker kind, which is okay. It works for this project. It being the spine, I'm also going to put a little glue on it like I think I did with the main front cover. So we'll take this off, and then I'm going to apply some glue, and then we'll put that on this spine. And there's our front cover. We'll add a little bit of other decorative items in just a moment. And now we get to be the fun part. We need to at least make a tag to go in our pocket. And I usually put a couple of other things in these other pockets. And I'll show you some of the things that I added, like a flip folder here or a flip up. I did that right here. I thought that was cute. And I have this punch, so I think we'll add that to our book here. I also like to add this little belly band and put a card inside there. So we'll make a couple of cards there and some tags. I also have this type of little card. Anything for writing things down, memories, note cards, that sort of things. So I'll get to work on some of those things and show you. To do this flip up section, it is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. I scored it at 1 inch. I think I've done it at a 1/2 inch before, but that's okay. It still is going to be fine. And that's the thing. You make it your own and what works for you. And you can always fix. There's really no mistakes. We can always come up with ways to fix things. Okay, we're going to place that here. And I want to put those Christmas trees right here. I'm going to show you that punch. By the way, this paper is Stampin' Up, and I have had it for years. I was going to look on the back to see if there's actually a date. I could look up online and find it. I don't see a date on this, but I want to say around, oh goodness, I don't even want to guess. But I've had this paper for a long time. This is also a punch from Stampin' Up that I've had for quite a while. And I'm glad that I got this because I like how you can punch out decorative paper, or we're going to go with this green that also matches this collection. And we're going to kind of offset these trees under here. And let's see, what do we like better? Do we like the solid in front? Maybe so, because it sort of looks like a little shadow. So I'm going to attach those under here. We're going to place these. And, you know, when you get this journal to use, you can put pictures under here. You can write on the cards. That's why I'm making the cards and the little tags. Okay, so the next little thing I want to add, let's make some tags. I want to make use of this punch to do the topper, so I'm limited to a 2-inch tag in width. But I like how that gives me a quick topper there. And I'm going to take this one that's just a little bit smaller piece and just try to put it in the middle. Line that up in the middle and then come up with another tag. And so I have 2 tags offset a little bit in size, and we'll place those right there in that pocket. Book, I have this tag in the pocket, and it looks like it is about 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to duplicate that, 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. Let's make our own hole reinforcer for this tag, and I've got this 3/4 inch punch that I'm going to get a circle out of Very Vanilla. That's what matches this. And we're going to place this right in the middle. And I'm going to glue this, I think. We'll go ahead and put this down and give it some time to dry. And I want to go as much in the middle as I can. Let's see if I can line this up and okay, whoops, I always do that. When I press it down, then I move it. Now I want to punch a hole in the middle of this. This hole reinforcer is a little bit larger than normal, but our tag is larger than normal. So there we've got this tag. Okay, now I've got this tulle ribbon that matches the cherry cobbler that is used in this set. And I'm just going to attach it. I didn't want a very long piece, but I want to make sure I didn't get too short of a piece. And then we'll just tighten this up. Just wanted a little bit to hang from the top of our book. And if we like that, there's that. Or we could attach this to kind of tie it in place. A little bit of twine. Yeah, I think I like that. I'm going to double knot that. And I'll trim that off. We can add that to our pocket, and it just goes in right there. All right, so we've got that. It's going to be hanging from the top. Let's see what else we need to add. Okay, we had something right here, so I was going to make a little booklet to do some journaling. Next, I took a 5 by 3 1/2 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to fold that in half. And I think I want to corner round these bottom edges and keep this straight. Then I'm going to take, let's see, this was a 2 1/4 by 3 1/4 decorative paper and the Very Vanilla. And again, I'm just going to corner round one edge. And I'm going to place these on this cardstock. And so we have this that's going to fit perfectly here in our pocket. And I've made a belly band that is 4 by 3/4 in length. And so I'm going to use my tear tape for that, just a small piece on the ends. And we'll place this belly band here. It doesn't have to quite be in the middle, but it's okay if it is, but that way you can fit your items underneath there and they don't get caught up. So I need to make my two little cards for that. And finally, for the inside of the book, I've just made some little cards that can go in these little tuck spots. And I think maybe right here. For now, I've just got it clipped in. And also for this, I've included the Very Vanilla on the back, so anything can be written on the back. And now it comes to the final part. Let's put a few little things on this front cover. I wanted to put a few things on this front cover, but not too much. And I knew I had these die cuts from Teresa Collins that have a little bit more of the deeper red, this cherry cobbler red in it, and the greens to match enough. And so I've picked out these 3 pieces. Now this little Santa has a little tag holder there on the top. I'm just going to trim that off. And I think I'm going to do something like this and with the Mary on it. And I'm also wondering, do I want to add any of the tulle behind that? I think I kind of want to just keep it very simple, straightforward. Let's add a couple of pop dots on the back of Santa. So I want to place Santa right here in this corner. And I'm going to add the candy cane behind it just with some tape. Kind of stacked behind it. If I can get behind there. There we go. And then we'll finish off. I'm going to put a pop dot on this one side. And then just regular tape across here. The Mary. And that's going to finish it off there. So we'll do a walkthrough now. So this is our little hinge binding journal that we've put together with the front and the spine there. We open it up and we have a little note card we can use for any kind of memories or things to write down. A little flip up here, great for pictures on either side. We've got a couple of tags. We can add some paper to the back if we want to and write some things down. Here we have the pocket with a nice tag that can be used for either journaling or a picture of some sort. And another little foldable card that we can use to do some journaling on as well. And plenty of space back here for pictures, more journaling, any kind of little special memories for the holiday season. This is a fun journal to make, and you can use the dimensions that I have or do something to make it for yourself, but it's a fun little project to put together. I hope that you've enjoyed it.